The quiet desires embedded in human nature are always drawn to the lives of others, especially within a world filled with conflict. Voyeurism is, of course, an act that violates moral boundaries, yet under the masterful hands of director Alfred Hitchcock, it becomes a vivid portrait of human nature, an artistic and conceptual triumph of cinematic genius. Rear Window, 1954, is a masterpiece that leads audiences on an immersive adventure through the eyes of a photographer who spies on his neighbors from an apartment in Greenwich Village, New York. The film reflects multiple dimensions of society, human psychology, spatial staging, and cinematic artistry. It is a mosaic of interwoven stories. Its concept was inspired by a real murder case that occurred in New York in 1924, from which Hitchcock developed the distinctive details and atmosphere that define the work. This review contains spoilers. Please return after you've experienced the film in its entirety. The film opens on a sweltering summer day, beginning with a sweeping panoramic shot of the apartment complex where Jeff, played by James Stewart, lives. Jeff is a free-spirited photographer, fond of adventure and devoted to a life of independence. After a workplace accident leaves his left leg in a cast, he is forced to remain confined to his apartment. This immobilized and monotonous state unexpectedly gives him the opportunity to observe the everyday lives of his neighbors, something he never had the chance to do during his years of constant travel. As the long days pass, Jeff begins to watch the people around him through his rear window. Through Hitchcock's refined camera movements, each shot unfolds like a miniature cinema screen. The alluring dancer in the opposite apartment embodies the glamour and solitude of the entertainment world. The musician, passionately absorbed in his piano playing, seems to be composing the film's very soundtrack. Meanwhile, the elderly couple with their dog on the balcony provides a comedic yet poignant reflection of the mundanity and quiet humor of domestic life. To the left of the complex is a newlywed couple, the ideal image of romantic love, one that Jeff no longer seems to believe in. Just below, a lonely woman yearns desperately for affection, yet fails to find it. And, most significant, is the Thorwald couple, played by Raymond Burr, whose suffocating marriage gradually evolves into the film's central tragedy. It is through this window that the crime-driven tension of the film's latter half begins to unfold. Through Jeff's window, Hitchcock reveals not only Jeff's voyeuristic behavior, but also the cinematic metaphor of the window itself. Jeff's gaze into others' lives mirrors the audience's gaze at the screen. The act of watching others, the intrusion into private lives, becomes both a comedic gesture and a hallmark of cinematic language. As Jeff watches his neighbors, the audience in turn watches Jeff. Hitchcock uses layers of nested gazes to depict voyeurism. What we see on screen is not merely an act of looking, but the very process by which entertainment is created. Jeff is driven by an instinctual human curiosity, and in the dark silence of the theater, the audience is quietly pulled into that same instinct. Around Jeff's small apartment is Stella, played by Thelma Ritter, the nurse who takes care of him. She represents conventional moral viewpoints when she notices Jeff watching other people. Their humorous conversations also serve as a sharp reminder that being too curious about others can lead to chaos, a humorous prediction from Stella about the trouble that will soon come for Jeff.
I can smell trouble right here in this apartment. First.
When night falls, the beautiful Lisa appears, played by Grace Kelly. She is Jeff's girlfriend, an elegant upper-class woman who always hopes for a steady and lasting love with him, while he is a wandering photographer who prefers a free life and doesn't mind traveling second class. Lisa continually tries to get close to Jeff, but he cannot tolerate her refined and noble lifestyle. His humorous dialogue and expressions break Lisa's tender heart. As Jeff watches the dull lives of the neighboring families, to him, they symbolize constraint, and he believes Lisa cannot live his kind of life. Meanwhile, Lisa believes that love can reconcile their differences. Thanks to James Stewart's excellent acting, we feel excited following their opposite personalities and their internal conflict. This also serves as a metaphor for the prejudice against women, as Jeff only sees Lisa's lifestyle and cannot understand who she truly is. Hitchcock not only expands the scope of daily life, but also brings the audience into the depth of emotion. An interesting detail is how the characterizations of Jeff and Lisa reflect the salesman and his bedridden wife across the courtyard. On one side, the man's mobility is limited, while the woman moves freely. On the other, the woman is confined to the bed while the man takes care of her. The story shifts as night falls. Jeff hears a noise and notices Thorwald, the neighbor across the courtyard, secretly going in and out of his apartment with a heavy suitcase. Curiosity begins to grow and turns into a meaningful suspicion. The next day, something strange happens. Thorwald's wife disappears without a trace, and a mysterious woman appears at his place. From here, curiosity turns into full surveillance by the photographer. What began as accidental observation becomes a focused attention on the neighbor's behavior, from his gestures to his actions. Strange events occur. The dog keeps digging in the flower bed. Thorwald transports a peculiar wooden trunk, and tools like saws and knives are carefully packed. The more Jeff watches, the more he becomes haunted by crime and death, revealing the blurred line between pleasure and violence, a distinctly Freudian characteristic. Hitchcock uses many of Freud's ideas about the unconscious and desire to shape the character's psychology and the film's suspense. Human beings are driven by repressed desires in the unconscious, especially sexual impulses and curiosity about others. When Jeff reveals to Stella and Lisa his theories about a possible murder happening across the courtyard, Stella, emotional and intuitive, initially doubts him and believes he is simply imagining things. Meanwhile, Lisa, who tries to charm Jeff, becomes intrigued and increasingly unsettled as she listens to the mysterious events. One represents professional ethics, and the other cares only about love. Eventually, both Stella and Lisa shift from opposition to genuine curiosity. Curiosity, whether born from love or morality, holds an irresistible power, and both women become Jeff's spiritual accomplices in voyeurism. This shows that no one can escape the temptation of watching others or the discomfort of being watched, offering a profound insight into human nature. The final part of the film leads all three characters into a detective-like investigation to uncover the mystery surrounding Thorwald's wife. The story gradually pushes curiosity and suspense into intense tension when Stella and Lisa decide to sneak into Thorwald's apartment to look for evidence. This also marks a clear stage in Lisa's psychological development. She proves to Jeff that she is not just someone to be admired, but a brave woman who can accompany him on real-life adventures. She climbs through the window and enters Thorwald's apartment, while Jeff can do nothing but watch helplessly through his binoculars. A powerful moment occurs when Lisa finds Thorwald's wife's ring, showing Jeff that she is worthy of his trust and love. In Hitchcock's films, words and images always reflect a facet of life, and he also explores voyeurism and the revelation of human nature through his cinematic language. When Lisa climbs into Thorwald's apartment, the rising tension drives the story to its climax, setting the stage for Jeff's final confrontation with the murderer. Rear Window is not merely a murder mystery. It encompasses the ability to reveal an entire world, life and love, all through a single window frame. Hitchcock uses imagery to express human emotion, and the defining qualities of his films are beauty and precision, both of which Rear Window achieves perfectly. His use of cinematography, set design, and dialogue is both subtle and thought-provoking, weaving together many elements familiar in his work: suspense, murder, crime, romance, and the presence of the mature blonde heroine. These neighbors become actors, each performing their own private play. The windows resemble stages: the composer's stage, the dancer's stage, the salesman's stage, the murderer's stage, each frame a slice of life. With Hitchcock's masterful camera techniques, a single setting becomes something entirely new. He uses unique perspectives and artistic craftsmanship to explore human nature and the pleasure of voyeurism. The film begins with Jeff's curiosity, but gradually, the audience themselves becomes the voyeur. Rear Window is a film about perception. It is not only about voyeurism, but also about point of view, about a controlled gaze, and about how information is both concealed and revealed. It tells a story, but it is also about why we want to watch stories and how we perceive them. It also explores the aesthetics of architecture, the aesthetics of setting and space, and the aesthetics of interior design and costume. In this sense, a true master director requires a comprehensive understanding of both art and science, including strategy and execution. Those who can achieve this are extremely rare. An interesting detail is that Hitchcock drew inspiration from a real building located at 125 Christopher Street in Greenwich Village as the model for the film's courtyard. An entire apartment complex and courtyard in Greenwich Village were reconstructed inside a Paramount soundstage to create Hitchcock's harsh miniature world of lonely souls. Another surprising detail is that he also appears in the film in a small scene inside the musician's apartment, adjusting the clock on the mantelpiece. Throughout the entire film, Hitchcock uses only natural, everyday sounds. Music from the radio, birds chirping, fans humming, and neighbors talking. All of this forms the complete whole of a timeless classic. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next videos.